Welcome, bet riders around the world. My name is Gary Solomon, and you're watching the Laid Back Bike Report. Well, it's been a few weeks. Hi, guys. We are so glad to be back to share with you our thoughts and experiences from the recent CycleCon show in Dayton. And accordingly, we have assembled a panel of illustrious guests. Larry, why don't you pop everybody up on the screen? Let's show the folks who are with us today. First of all, as always, in Jackson, Mississippi, our media guy, it's Tray Bourgoyne. Hey, Tray.
Howdy, folks. Good to be here.
And directing the show once again out in Colorado Springs, it's Larry Seidman.
Hi, Gary.
And at the show with us, behind the tables in the booth, it was Nina Paley. Hi, Nina.
Howdy.
And Denny Voorhees was at the show as well. Denny, how you doing?
Terrific. Thanks for being here, Gary.
Glad to have you. And the ever famous Larry Varney out, I don't know, floating in space. Larry, you were there for a day. I'm glad to see you on the show.
Yeah, I was there on Saturday. It was great to be there and see you all too.
Great. And one of our featured guests, the ever present, always on the YouTube. It's Matt Galat. Matt, how are you?
Hey, everybody. Doing good.
Good. Oh, look, and we have Sylvia Halpern just in time for her introduction. Sylvia, hi.
Hi. I tried my iPad. I tried my laptop. I'm using my phone.
That's perfect. Turn it sideways so we get a fuller view, and then I think now we got you. That's
there we
perfect.
go.
And look at all the bikes in that shop. It is the Bicycle Man. It's Peter Stull. Hi, Peter.
Hi. And it's not a blue screen. That's a showroom.
I know. It's real. It's real. All right.
It's real.
All right, guys. So let me tell you what we have on today's webcast. As I mentioned, we're going to talk all about the CycleCon show. But I do have a couple of short segments of newsworthy items. We're going to kick it off with Wolf and Wolf. This is a bicycle company in Germany that has recently purchased the amazing Spezi event from Hardy Siebeck. And so I had a chance to sit down and talk with them. And we're going to do that here in just a second. Then we're going to have our panel review about CycleCon. And lastly, I had a chance to talk to Marshall Randall from WizWheelz, who, aside from his marketing duties at the company, did an amazing ride on his Greenspeed Aero and broke a whole bunch of records last month. So we'll have a few minutes to talk to Marshall about that. All right, guys, first of all, before we get to that, I want to make sure you all understand that we have live chat running on YouTube and on Facebook. So feel free to make your comments, ask questions of our guests or our panelists, and let us know where you're watching from. That's always good to see. If you want to support the Laid Back Bike Report, you can do so by liking us on Facebook, subscribing to us on YouTube, and click that little white eye right up there. It'll take you to the Laid Back Bike Report website where you can find out much more. All right, let me tell you about today's sponsors. First of all, it is TerraCycle, makers of exquisite recumbent parts and accessories for your bent, and Trailside Trikes, a fine recumbent trike shop on the Withlacoochee Trail in Florida and now in Knoxville, Tennessee as well. And TerraTrike Greenspeed, the best in leisure, performance, adventure touring, electric, and portability. Wherever your adventure leads, TerraTrike will take you there. and Greenspeed, where Ian Sims designs bring performance through science and engineering, and Laid Back Cycles, the top USA dealer for TerraTrike and the premier source for CatTrike, Ice, and Greenspeed. We give you the freedom to ride. And Connecticut Yankee Peddler. We feature multiple brands of trikes, including electric assist models. Test rides and Southern Iowa hospitality are always available at our mega store in Chariton. And Avenue Trikes. With the gearing you need and the comfort you want, it's time to enjoy riding again. They're in stock, ready to ship, and only $19.95. Dealer inquiries are welcome. And Azub. This company is a 3-time winner of the Trike of the Year award and has brought several unique technological solutions to the world of recumbent bikes, including the titanium front suspension on the Tie-Fly trike. Combined with tuned rear suspension, it provides its owners with absolute comfort throughout the ride. And Recumbent PDX. With a 150 trike inventory, Recumbent PDX is the West Coast's only CatTrike megastore. We have over 20 trikes on our showroom floor just waiting for you to test ride through our beautiful Portland neighborhood. Call or email to schedule your test ride today. And EcoCycles, leaders in electric assist and customer support, with a line of specialized conversion kits to retrofit just about any BET model out there. Check them out at check them out at cycles.eco right now. All right, guys. So Honza is not able to be with us as he is traveling the country, meeting up with dealers. Matt will be able to tell you a little bit about that if he wishes. He has, however, posted early this morning, I think, his views about CycleCon 2022. It's kind of an overview look. He had a chance to walk through the aisles and kind of shows you what he saw. And of course, the Laid Back Bike Report, we took our time and did interviews with practically every exhibitor there. So those videos are going to be popping out in the next couple of weeks. We have a couple up right now. We'll tell you about that here at the end of the show. So if you have a chance, do check out Hans's video on the Recumbent.News YouTube channel is where he's posted that. I'll put that link down in the description below. All right, guys, let's kick it off with the news of Wolf and Wolf purchasing Spezi. Especially our viewers overseas in Europe will be interested to see what they have in mind and any changes they might be making. So Larry, if you would, let's hear from Wolf and Wolf. We are here with Franz and Gabriel from Wolf and Wolf in Germany, the new owners of the Spezi event. And guys, welcome to the Laid Back Bike Report.
Thank you, Gary, for your inviting. Hi, Gary.
So it's great to have you guys on. There have been so many questions asked of me, and I'm sure asked of you as well, about what happened and what to expect with the new ownership of Spezi. So with that, let me just start out finding out a little bit more about your company. Can you tell me a little bit about Wolf and Wolf?
Yes, actually, it started 2013 with my brother. We really like to build bicycles and make some stuff in our workshop, but we also like to make a project with students. And so in this project, we built bicycles with students, and we made a big journey with them. And so actually this was the start from Wolf and Wolf, and we made other workshops, and in this time we developed our new bicycle. And so quite nice 3 years. It's the start of our company. And 2016, Franz joined to us, and we took our new model to the Spezi, and this was the first Spezi. And since then, we have been closely connected with the Spezi.
Yes, and I
This
think
is
that's
our-
where I first encountered you as a company, and you remember talking to you, Franz, at your booth there at Spezi. Let's talk about where you are located. You're a German company. You're near the border with Switzerland, I understand. Can you give us a better idea of where the new Spezi will be taking place? Where is Wolf & Wolf?
So we have a second workshop in Lauchringen. It's called Lauchringen in the south of Germany. It's my home country and my home village. There we start a second workshop because the way from Lauchringen to Paley is 60 kilometers. And the first idea was to save kilometers for me. And so we have a lot of customers in Europe. And to serve these customers, it's good to have a second workshop.
Okay.
And this workshop is in an old industry area. And that's the chance to use that area.
To use this as the new venue for Spezi, yes?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So Hardy Ziebeck is an old friend of mine who ran Spezi for about, 25 years, I believe. And it was in Germersheim for all those years. And then I know he had quite a bit of difficulty as the COVID pandemic hit, and it was very difficult. So if you could please pick up the story there. How did you talk to Hardy and ask him about this? Did he talk to you? Tell me the story of the purchase.
It was a little lucky situation. So we made last year a little bike show on this old industrial area. And after that, I sent Hardy a lot of pictures from this little fair or little bike show. And Hardy told to me, wow, it was like the first Spezi. And so we talk about that. And he told me he wants to stop the Spezi for himself. I think it's a good situation to cut now. And so we talk again and again, and I told it to Gabriel and Florian. And so was the beginning of the discussion about the new Spezi.
All right, great. And so that then led to the actual purchase by Wolf & Wolf. And that happened, a few months ago, I guess. Is that right? And tell me, maybe we can start looking a little bit more detail about this venue in Lauchringen. I'm sure I'm not saying that well, but tell me about, it's an old industrial area and it was your second workshop. The old Spezi in Germersheim was renowned for its, it was very spread out over a large part of the village there in various areas. How is it different? What will the new venue look like?
The biggest difference is we have a lot of space inside and outside, but this space is covered, so it's not on different places, so it's actually only one place. And if you are here, like now in our second workshop, and look out on the windows, we only see the opportunities for a Spezi, because I think it's really important to have enough space for test tracks. So it's really important. Everybody should test the bikes, the different bikes, and there is place for this, and we have space for maybe for a party, for good food. And I think in Germersheim it was a bit difficult to be together with so many people at the same time, so many customers, and we can change this bad situation, make it better a bit, but we can hold the same charm like before. So it will be not a professional fair. It will be like Spezi.
which is more of a festival type atmosphere, which is what I always enjoyed. And that sounds intriguing. So there will be a more concentrated area, which will make it more convenient. It sounds like. A little bit more about the test track or test tracks. There were 2 test tracks, one e-assisted and one human-powered test track. Is that your intention to do again? And will they be in fairly close proximity? Will they be pretty close to the indoor venue?
Yes, we think the test tracks are very, very important for the Spezi. You have to test every bike, and we have the big chance to make the test track through the hall. The hall is 5,000 square meters,
A bit more, yeah.
about, and we can the test track make through the hall and something like a pit lane in the Formula One. So every customer can drive through the hall with his bike, go to the exhibitor, change the bike, test the next bike, and drive through the hall again, out of the hall, and on the big test track.
Oh, wow. So they will actually start and end their test drives inside where the booths are, and then go outside for, wow. Okay. That's really interesting. That's a great idea. I think that will probably work very, very well.
Yeah. Maybe we have a big chance to make the test track bigger. For example, on an official road, we can sperren.
We closed it for other vehicles, so it's only for the bicycles.
Yes, and then we have some hills and bigger roads to test.
Yeah.
That's actually we discuss with the government, with the official people from Lauchringen.
Yeah.
If I'm going to Spezi next year, what will I notice that will be very different than what happened at Germersheim?
Of course, it's to change the place where the fair will be. So this is the biggest change, and I think it's not easy to make this change after 24 years. So we are hoping for a lot of peoples and that they will accept our new place. So this actually is the biggest difference to the Spezi before. And otherwise, it's about the test track. It's about everything is in one big hall. So we have place for more than 100 booths in only one hall. And outside, it's more to be together for party, for eating, maybe with coffee stands, whatever. But the fair is only in one big hall. That's maybe the second difference.
Yes, and maybe for all American people, it's very near because the airport Zurich is half an hour from Lauchringen.
Is it your intention to continue to encourage folks to come and show off their home-built, modified bikes and such? At Spezi in the past, you would find people bringing their own builds, their own creations on the outside, and they would show them off in the streets or around the buildings, or perhaps selling and reselling of their sorts of things. Is that going to continue to be encouraged?
Of course, it's because we want to have a meeting, and there is no way to close out somebody, and of course you can take your own bicycle and you can place it at here, and maybe you can sell it too. It's really fine. So we prefer as many bicycles inside as possible. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's what I was hoping to hear from you, because that's a big part of the charm of what Spezi is.
Absolutely.
So, okay, let's step into the future a little bit. it's interesting the parallels between what's happening at Spezi and what happened with CycleCon here in the States, with a change in ownership there and a change in ownership here as well. And so they here in the States, they considered this year's CycleCon to be a transition year. So it's a change in ownership. The new owners are trying to figure out the best ways to approach to put their brand on a previous event. And I'm guessing that you guys are going to be doing something like that too. You'll do Spezi this next year, try to keep things the same. But I think you're probably thinking about the future of Spezi as well. Can you share with our viewers what ideas you may have for the future of Spezi? What changes you think you might make?
The most important thing is to keep the Spezi alive.
Yeah.
So if we look in the future, this one is the most important, and we will do everything to keep her alive, keep it alive.
For example, Hardy say in one situation, if we don't do that, he will stop the Spezi, and that's the first thing Spezi have to alive. And for the future, we have to follow what's happened on the market. We think cargo bikes are very important. Maybe four-wheel bikes will go on. We have to look what happened and give these bikes a platform.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Gabriel.
And yeah, we told it twice, to test the bicycle is really important, and we will build this out in the future. There should be even more or better possibilities to test the bicycles. The Spezi should be a festival, a meeting point, and there are many velomobile. What's the name in English? I do not know.
Velomobile. Yes.
Yeah. Correct. And
perfect. Yes.
We want to build place and time for them. Maybe infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Yes.
You said that. No, that's perfect. Infrastructure.
I need some beer.
So there are a lot of possibilities to grow, but slowly, and just stay like the Spezi.
The number one priority is to continue Spezi, which I think is as it should be. That is great. All right, let's talk specifics. So the plan is to keep Spezi the same time of year, in the same. It's the last weekend in April. Is that still true?
Yeah. Correct.
So it'll be the last weekend in April in 2023, and. Yeah, I think you've covered it very well. I'm very excited to see what you will do there. I am hopeful that I might be able to make it out there. There's so much uncertainty right now. It's very difficult to predict, but if I can, I would love and to come and see you guys and see what you will have done with the new Spezi. It will be awesome. Any last words, fellas?
So we will relaunch a Spezi homepage in the next weeks. And there will come more informations about overnighting, places to be, and so on. So give us a little bit time to organize it all. It's a lot to do. And from my side also, I want to invite all to come, and we won't make a party. So we say it's in front. We have a good old hall from the 19th century. And we want there a little Spezi party to connect all the people, talk together, and more place to talk. Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. I love the whole idea. It sounds like you guys have a pretty good handle on things. So I guess for now, we're going to leave it there. Franz, Gabriel, thank you so much for spending a little time on the Laid Back Bike Report, and we'll be in touch. Let me know as soon as that new website is available, and we'll post that as well.
Thank you, Gary.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Bye-bye.
Nice.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, those guys gave me a lot of confidence to think that things will carry on at Spezi, which is a wonderful thing. So we'll keep our eyes on that and look forward to maybe even getting there next year. So, okay, folks, let's leave Spezi and head to the back to the USA and the CycleCon 2022 show, which we attended last weekend, and we have an amazing panel to talk to you all about what they saw there and their evaluation of it. So, Larry, let's pop the panel up. And you can also pop the slideshow up when you get a chance on the side, and we will get into this. Guys, if you will unmute and mute yourself as we go so we don't get too much extraneous noise with so many panelists here, that would be great. I think what I'd like to do to start out with is just talk about the show in general and your overall impressions of the crowds, the venue, the city of Dayton. There were some rides that were available for folks who came, trail rides that were local and such. So I'm going to let most of the time I want you guys to do the talking. I guess for me, I'm just going to quickly say crowds were much better than expected. I thought the venue was great. It was very close for me, so I love that. Dayton is a great place to host it. The trails are great in the Xenia and Dayton area, so that was good. The impromptu trike riders of Ohio did a great job leading those. The only thing I will say overall that was missing was cat trike. We really wish we would have had a chance to see them. There was so much speculation online about this. I don't think it's all that complicated. Did have a chance to chat with Mark Eglin before the show, and I think they're just they were having some issues with COVID and some production problems, and it was obviously the most important thing for them to get their production back in order, and so I think that's all it was. And so with that, let's go down the line. Tray, if you wouldn't mind kicking it off, tell us what you thought about about those questions, the overall Spezi, and then we'll go down the line.
Overall Spezi.
Overall CycleCon. See, I've got Spezi on the mind.
That's all right. Well, you can put me in the slideshow. We'll go through the slides while we're doing this. So it was, right. I was impressed. I drove up. So there was discussions about, are we at the right place? Do we need to move and things like that? And I think they'll come out with more information on that in the future. So I was pleasantly surprised at the number of people that were there. If I had to say, I've been to a couple, and this was one of the better attended ones that I've seen. So the booths were well done. They had plenty of help. If you wanted to ride something, you didn't have much weight. Nice test track, really, really nice test track. And you had a gravel or a paved test track, so you could do both. That's what was really cool. So that's about my input there.
All right, Larry Varney. Talk to us. Unmute yourself. There you go. Larry, you're unmuted, but we cannot hear you. All right, let's, Sylvia, are you there?
Can you hear me?
We can. Why don't you tell us what you thought?
All right. I, just like you, Gary, I thought the event was impressive. It was so much better than, there was a lot of speculation and trepidation. And the first year for WizWheelz to take it over, I thought it was a really gutsy thing to do. They only had like 3 months to put this thing together. They'd never done it before. And I just thought it came out really well. The number of people that came was really impressive. I did the trike ride with the impromptu trike riders of Ohio, and just wonderful trails, met a lot of people. It was very, very fun. I also gave 2 presentations and then did another one with Nina. And so I kind of want to talk about that just a little bit. It was just a curtained off area that was in the hall, and there was a loud PA system, which was quite distracting. I'm not really sure that there's anything we can do about it, because I think the speakers are kind of in the ceiling of the hall. you know, because Marshall was reading off raffle tickets and doing housekeeping, and it was a little bit hard to concentrate. But they were very well attended, especially on Saturday. Sunday was a little bit awkward. I think Matt had the first hour at 11 o'clock and the doors opened at 11. And so like there was nobody around. And I wondered if it wouldn't be better to do it on the half hour on Sunday. And then I had the last hour, and like it was really loud. You know, kind of like the show was over and all the booze were coming down, and it was super hard for me to concentrate. It was really loud. And so maybe not have that last hour. The other thing was the test track. God, my gosh, the test track was so great. It was like a huge area. And like Tray was saying, there's gravel and paved. So you had choices. The only thing I might suggest that they switch the doors because the way that people went out, there was kind of a sharp turn. And then there was also a lot of vehicles. Like Dan Zimmerman had his big van there, and you were presented with this choice to go on gravel or pavement like right away. And I actually saw some two-wheel recumbent people fall, and I think some of it was that confusion, which might be eliminated if they went out onto the track the way everyone came in this time, if that makes sense. But I thought it was great. I think a lot of vendors and dealers and, you know, exhibitors, you know, are going to be eager to sign up again for next year. Dayton was great. The fairgrounds was great. So yeah, that's my assessment.
And what an assessment it was. Thank you, Sylvia. Larry, if you unmute yourself, I think you're back. I heard you. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here now.
All right, pal. Go ahead and tell us what you thought overall.
I would practically echo everything you've said. I like the test tracks. The facilities themselves were fine. Once I found the restrooms, and I like being able, typically that is, I don't know why I'm blinking.
You're fine. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm looking at my image and I seem like I'm flashing lights or something. Weird. Must have been the drugs. But let's see if I always like to see if I've got any kind of a complaint. None really, because it's fairly convenient for me too. Maybe a little bit closer for me than it is for you, or it might be pretty much equal. But it was very handy to get there. Took me about an hour's drive, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, I did miss not seeing Cat Trike, but then, as you said, there were issues involved. And I guess the one thing that really surprised me is, like you said, is the number of people that were there. I got there probably 15 minutes after opening on Saturday, and the parking lot had a ton of cars in it already. And I thought, I'd practically be a ghost town, that early. But yeah, they had good attendance. The facilities were nice. The weather was great. I can't think of anything I complained about, really. I liked meeting all the people, but that's, typical of, that event. I like meeting the vendors and things. So, yeah, no big complaints. I'm definitely planning on going back again next year, and I hope it's back up in Dayton just because it's so much more convenient for me. And I think it's a great facility. So that's my 2 cents worth.
All right. Thanks, Larry. All right, Peter, if you'll unmute yourself and give us your impression.
There, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, I would agree with everything everybody said so far. I didn't think there were a lot of dealers, not as many dealers as we'd normally have, but it was an unusual year. It's been an unusual couple years for dealers. It's been from extremely busy to who knows. It's been regional. Some places have been exceptionally busy and some have not been so busy. So that probably accounts for that. there weren't very many new bikes and trikes. I'll talk about a couple of them here that I rode. But you know, the industry was swamped and we couldn't keep up with production, and it's a tough time to come out with new products. So there was not much in the way of new products, and there weren't as many booths as normal. But again, it's been a tough couple of years for the industry. We thought about having a booth for linear and introducing our new linear minier. Yeah, aren't we cute? But this is a bike above or below seat steering, long or short wheelbase for people down to about 5 feet tall. The seat's lower and the frame is smaller and it's foldable and all that good stuff. But we decided not to because the years, it's been crazy years, and I was going to come to the show alone. And if I have a booth and come to the show alone, I don't get to do anything but stand in my booth and I don't get to see the show. So I didn't do that. So some of the new products we saw, HP had a new hand.
Well, hang on a second, Peter. We're going to
go.
go through the booths here and ask for those who want to talk about individual things.
Okay.
Just looking for general thoughts here, and you hit it perfectly. So, all right, Peter. Thanks, pal. We'll get back to you. I promise. If you'll mute yourself. And how about Matt Galat? Matt, can you come on and talk to us in general? What did you think about the show?
Yeah, sure. You know, for me, it was really special because I've been online making videos of my travels for the last almost decade. And so many of those years have been cycling on a recumbent trike. And I've had a lot of friends that I've developed relationships with that I've never met before. And it was, this event was like my first opportunity to actually spend some time meeting and greeting with people that I've known for so long, but I've never met. So people were walking up to the booth at AZA where I had the trike set up and saying, "Hey, Matt, this is a pleasure." And I was like, well, it was a pleasure for me too. So, I mean, as a general overview, that was a huge thing for me to be able to like set my foot on American soil and meet some people who have seen me for so long. As far as the event itself goes, I thought it was great. There was a lot of parking, and I'm always looking for good parking. In China, you can always parking on the street. There's always trouble finding parking spots. So seeing an event like that with really good proximity to the event itself, you were parking, and within a few steps you were inside the event. I thought the facilities were great. There was a lot of room for growth if they decided to stay at that location, but I know that there was some discussion on possibly relocating every number of years. We were sort of talking about that. But it was a great event. One of the things I really liked was the fact that everybody was like getting along. All of the different booths and the different vendors were talking to each other and like bouncing ideas and laughing. And I've been to some huge shows in China, like hundreds of thousands of booths, like literally 100,000 booths, and there was like a lot of like sort of nastiness amongst the vendors, but here it was a lot of unity, which I thought was interesting, you know, between HP and Stein Trikes and Azub and Ice and everybody. It was nice to actually meet all of these people. So yeah, that's my impression.
Great. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's nice to meet people on the other side of the camera that we are on, Matt and Sylvia. Of course, we're out there making videos for those folks, but we don't get that immediate reaction, of course. Really nice to meet them in person. I couldn't agree with you more. All right. How about Nina? Unmute yourself and tell us what you thought, Nina.
I had so much fun. I didn't really have a lot of expectations. And, you know, since the last one of these I went to, which was in Cincinnati, you know, a pandemic happened and I've just been doing a lot of solo riding, and I live in a place that doesn't have a recumbent shop, and I'm a recumbent outlier. So I was having a great time nerding out. There were all these super fun, mostly trikes to try. I really liked being able to test ride something just about whenever I wanted. I think every conference should have a test track and trikes to ride, even if it's about coding or animation. All conferences should have that. I too got to meet in some cases or just spend time with people that I had interactions with online. I got a ride there and back from A.D. Carson, who I've had a lot of online interaction with, but never met in real life. And I got bitten by an obsessive desire to design and create a bike. And I am obsessed with that now. And that's because I rode Carver bikes and, you know, tried these other bikes. And it's just like, I want my dream bike to exist. So I'm actually contemplating offering myself as a free intern to Frame Builder out there. If anybody wants wants to teach me how to build a frame, I have an idea. But yeah, it was just like a wonderful nerd fest, and I really liked everyone, like more than I expected to. And it was also just great for me to get out of my, you know, other professional world and do something purely for fun.
Great, and it was great fun. So, Denny, I think we're gonna have you specialize and talk specifically about the seminars, pal. So we'll come back. Did you have something you wanted to say about in general?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Something to say, but actually, I can't really improve on much of it, except for me, it's like old home day. It's. I've been around Recumbents for 20 plus years now, and it's always great to see some of the old crew, some of the guys from back in the early 2000s, and some of them are still in the business, and then the folks that come to geek out on the Recumbents, new folks. I've met some great new people, and hope that all continues. So for me, it's like an old home day, but it's also a gathering that if you're a recumbent geek like we all are, it's really a must do if you can do it at all.
Yepper. All right. So Tray, if you can reset to the first of the booths, which Abus maybe was that the first one, I think. And then, so here's how the rest of this is going to work, guys. I think it's before ATOC is Abus. If you have something to say just about that particular booth, something of interest that you saw there, just unmute yourself and
I
pop
do
in there.
Wait,
yes.
Yeah.
About ATOC, is that what we're doing?
About Abus. Abus or
Abus.
ATOC?
Right. So yeah, let's go back. There's what I'm looking
There we
for.
go.
All right. Well, go ahead, Matt.
Well, first of all, the guys at Abus were really, really cool. So it was a nice booth. It was right at the entrance, a great location. So when you walked into the event, that was one of the first places that you saw. So, and the crew there, they were fairly well versed in shows. They go to a lot of shows, and well, the one thing that they said, this is words out of their mouth, was that this is one of the best shows that they've been to, which I thought was a real testament to the community of recumbent trikes in general, as well as, you know, their product. You know, obviously it's a necessity, and it kind of feeds into the other thing, which was that they said was that it was one of the best events, partly because they just didn't have any competition. They were there among accessories that were fairly scant, and it left a really big opportunity for more accessories in the CycleCons to come. So they kind of were on virgin territory, marketing accessories to people who really wanted to see them, and they were super excited about it. So yeah, that was just my impression.
Yeah, I echo that entirely, because I spent a bit of time there. Found I'm getting in that area where I need a new helmet, and I think I found exactly what I was looking for. So really fun to talk to, and a great. Happy to see him there.
The lighted helmet was really nice. They had one of them with the, and I've seen a lot of different ones, but I really like their battery, their powered helmet. That was quite nice.
Good. All right, let's go on then to ATOC. And who has something to say about Charlie and his carriers? Anybody? He's been around for quite some time. Nothing new, I don't think, to show, but these are just stock and trade in the industry. So, all right.
I went and got him lunch from the food truck.
Good. And I'm sure he appreciated that. What was it, Nina? I think we need to know.
It was he made a vegetarian go get him a hamburger.
Good. Okay, that's news we can't afford to overlook. Matt, did you have something on?
No, I approached him and I was asking him about how to mount it on the back of my van. He you know, obviously everybody uses their hitch in order to mount their trike to. I'm trying to mount it on the back of my van doors, but he kind of gave me some insights into that. And he's a really nice guy.
He is. He's cool. Next, then, let's move along, Trey. We have Azub. Anybody ever hear of that company? I
never heard of them.
First year. No, that's it. Well, I think let's see anybody but Matt first of all, and then we will have Matt at the end to sum up. I'm sure he'll have a few things to say. Trey,
Yeah,
yeah. Trey, do you want to? Did you have something?
I was going to say, I spoke with them. You know, they had tough times traveling, and they had a really nice booth, especially considering the distance they had to travel with. They had a really good representation of all their product there. So I know there was a lot of people. Every time we tried to go do an interview there, they were always swamped. So
that is so true. Nina, go ahead.
Well, every time I wanted to test ride, the model I wanted to test ride was being test ridden by somebody else.
Yeah, that's a testimony to how popular. And so, Matt, yeah, you spent most of your times in the booth there. So from the Azub perspective and your connection with them, what was your experience there?
Well, for those of you watching, Azub just recently helped build me a TIE Fly X, and so I've become somewhat of an ambassador of the brand. And so they had to ship all of the trikes from Czechia, and so they shipped them to my house for the show. And we drove from Detroit, where I am right now, and we drove to the show, bringing them all with us and setting them up. But one of them arrived late, so we had to drive. I had to drive all the way back to Detroit. And then all the way back in between the first and second day, but it was great. I mean, there was people nonstop, like you said, taking trikes in and out and enjoying them. There was a lot of I have found it really refreshing to hear different people's opinions of different trikes. You know, everybody likes something different, whether you want like the sleek and racing style or the heavier touring style or something in between. And Azub had a pretty good selection of their trikes. So yeah, and the setup was quite nice, and the neighbors were quite nice, and Jan and Honza were busy doing what they do and talking. So it was a good event. It was a good location. It was a good booth. It was quality. It's good.
Absolutely. And there's Honza right there.
Here he is.
We missed you today, pal. So we'll hopefully have Honza back next month. All right. What's next, guys? Trey, what do we got after Matt's picture? Carver bikes. All right. Well, we know who's going to talk about this a little bit more in depth. Nina, go ahead. Tell us about, because you had a chance to ride and everything. Tell us about Carver bikes.
Yeah, well, you know, my favorite Easy Racers is No More. And Carver is making titanium long wheelbase bikes just the way I like them. And I got to test ride them and I got really excited. And that's what started my obsession with designing my dream bike or commissioning my dream bike. Yeah, I love them. I mean, of course, I'm a Tie Rush fan, so of course I'm going to love these bikes. And you can see the one that I'm testing there has would you call that a jack shaft? He called it an idler, but it has two carbon belts instead of one big long chain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a mid drive kind of thing, but yeah, nice bikes. And actually, when you set them up about like you would a Tie Easy Racer, why it's about the same price. You know, I think the last Tie Rushes were around $5K. These are around $5K if you set them up with a conventional chain crank and so forth. Although I just absolutely love the belt drive. It's wonderful. The bike itself, it's still a little bit of a work in progress. There's a couple things I wasn't real happy about, but otherwise, what a beautiful piece of engineering, beautiful build. I got to ride it a bit, and that was one of the few bikes I did get to ride while I was there.
Okay. All right, let's move along then to the next booth, which was in alphabetical order, day 6. So we didn't get a chance to talk to day 6 or interview them, but they are a very popular kind of semi-recumbent kind of deal. It's pretty straightforward what they have there. Unless anybody's got anything important to say, I think we'll move along to the next one here. go ahead. So EBO. So EBO makes e-assist for bikes and trikes, and anybody. We did have a chance to talk with them. They'll be in the Laid Back Bike Report, one of our videos, one of our interviews. Anybody else have anything to say about them?
I guess I just want to say in general, electric is super popular. Trikes are super popular. The only two-wheelers that were there. Oh, yeah, the two-wheelers were Day 6 and Carver and recycled recumbents.
Yep. All right, let's go on to the
and
next.
Sun. Actually,
Sun did have
other
some.
one. Sun, Azub actually had one.
Azub had a two-wheel.
Yep.
Oh, that's right, short wheelbase.
Yeah.
I gloss over short wheelbase.
Well,
Yeah.
Those
Okay.
are two-wheelers to you.
You know, a newbie kind of problem. you know.
Okay.
One quick thing about EBO, they did mention that they're designing their motors, like you and I were talking about this. They're designing their motors to handle the hills of Colorado. So I thought that was interesting. They said they had their own design, and they've made changes to the motor specifically for that. So, and they mentioned cargo bikes even being able to handle a heavy load in the hills of Colorado. So I thought that was really cool.
Good. All right. Okay, let's go on then, Trey. And next after EBO is Greenspeed. So part of the WizWheelz group. And yeah, who wants to talk about what they saw at Greenspeed? Anybody have anything special? Nothing particularly new. But
I had never seen that yellow demo that they had out in front. Those wing style formed.
was it the Aero? Is that what you?
No, that's their
really
Aero.
pretty. That was really pretty.
I actually have two of them.
What really? This is really pretty.
Arrows are known for being really fast and light. Yeah, and Trey does have two.
Yep, I've got one of the prototypes that Ian built himself, and I've got that yellow trike just like that one.
All right, how about Honza? Anybody have anything to say on Honza? Again,
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
And conversations with Trey about traction on trikes. And so I really wanted to try the Honza with the differential. And indeed, it has better traction than tadpole configurations. And there's this little stretch of gravel on the test track where you could feel the tadpole drive wheels slip in a little bit, and that did not happen on the Honza.
Trey is right again. It just
well, we have
you.
a Honza. I have a Honza with the differential, and it's I won't go there, but it's a great bike. Actually, it's my wife's bike, and she loves it. She absolutely loves it.
Okay.
We did drag races on an icy parking lot with two-wheel drive and tadpole trikes, and as expected, the two-wheel drive was better at that. It was a lot of fun. It's a YouTube video.
Good. All right. What's coming up next here, Trey? HP Velotechnic. So I think we'll start out with Matt, because I know he already mentioned HP and he had something he wanted to say. Matt, go ahead, kick it off. What did you see?
Oh, I mean, it was really nice to see the guys. I had sort of moved away from HP and embraced AZUB recently, and there was a lot of people asking questions about that. And so it was nice to actually meet the team there, kind of like make sure there was no bad blood between us, because there isn't. I just was sort of excited to try something new with AZUB, and so I've been kind of working with them. But the crew was there, and it was nice to see some new faces and some old faces, and I really enjoyed looking at their hand cranked trike there. That was pretty interesting.
Good. Okay, and Sylvia,
I could say something about HP.
Please.
Yeah, so I ride an HP Scorpion FS20. My trike is 10 years old. I have ridden it all over the world. They do not sponsor me. I don't have any kind of official deal with them. But I had my trike with me. I took my truck and my trailer, so I had my trike, and they asked if I would do a meet and greet. So I took my trike with my bags, and sat in their booth, and just super, super nice guys. And Mathieu is 25 years old, so he hasn't been with HP very long, but Thomas has been with them for just about 10 years. Well, I've had my trike for over 10 years. So I said, well, I've been with HP longer. And he said, well, obviously you are the boss of the booth.
And there's Matthew. And then we were just looking at
really
at
fun
Thomas.
guys.
They
It was
are
just,
great
it was
folks.
really fun to meet them. And yeah, they've always been super supportive. Like whatever I've needed, they just help me out. And there's never, you know, it's just super easy. And they're great, big support and enthusiastic. And it's just a joy to work with them.
All right. All right, let's move along to the next booth, if we could.
Can we talk about the hand trike a bit?
Yeah. Matt mentioned it, but you had, go ahead.
Yeah,
Peter.
I thought it was very impressive. I thought it was one of the easier handling, steering, control was better, I thought, than on some. And so, yeah, I thought that was quite an interesting product.
Very nice. Okay. Let's then go on to ice, and we will see who has something to say. I had spent some time with ice, obviously, with the interview with Chris Parker, and that has recently been posted on YouTube. So if you want to see more details about that, but they had a lot to say about the Enviolo drive, continuous hub, and it was amazing. I had a short ride on it, and it was really something special. Who else has something to say? Larry, are you waving there? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say it was great seeing Chris and Drew again, and that was probably, it seemed to be the most popular vendor spot there. It was constantly people coming in to get the trikes, and then I felt bad for Chris because he was picking up the rear end and turning it around with people in it so they could ride out, and I thought, you know, he's going to be tired. But as you mentioned about the Enviolo hub, I've been riding and reviewing an adventure with one of those hubs for, I don't know, the last month or so. And every time I ride it, you know, I once tried a trike that had an electronic gear shifting mechanism, which used the cogs on your trike already. And it was okay, but I thought, you know, you can still feel it shifting and everything. But that Enviolo hub, it's almost like you took all your cogs and smoothed them off into a cone or something. So you never felt it actually shifting. You set it up with an app on your phone and everything, and it says, you know, what's your ideal cadence, you know, for just casual riding along. And from then on, that's all you do is you ride, and you don't have to, you know, pedal real hard or anything. The electronic, the shifting is done automatically. You don't feel it shifting. You'll go faster. You add more boost or something. It was just great. I was so impressed with that hub. And then also to find out that if your battery goes dead, it still works, you know. So, yeah, I like the ice strikes. I like meeting the guys and talking to them again. And, yeah, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, go back, Trey, one more slide. So here's a comment from Leave the Road, Take the Trails. That's my pal Kevin, lives fairly locally. And you guys can see the TV in the background that Ice used. They raffled that off at the end of the show. And Kevin won that. He was pretty happy about that. So, all right.
I want to say how comfy the seats are on the ice trikes and also the HP Velotech. So wandering around the floor, sometimes you just get tired. You don't even want to do a test ride. You just sit in the trike seat.
Did you try the new Dream seat from ASUB? That's pretty comfortable too.
You know, ASUB's trikes were out all the time.
It's really nice. You should try to find one.
I would have loved to.
To Matt's point, they weren't there because they were so comfortable. So.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's go on then to Premier Kites. We chatted briefly with them. Let's take a look here. There's not a whole lot to say, but they have all kinds of flags and twirlies that you can put on your trike. Anybody have anything to add to that? Okay. Let's move along then, Trey, to the next booth. And there is our pal AD, who was kind enough to pick Nina up and bring her to the show so that she could appear in our booth and do those test rides and do the seminars. So thank you to AD Carson, who is a long-standing pillar in the recumbent community and always has, he recycles old bikes and makes new ones, long wheelbases. I don't know. What's better than that? It's great. Go ahead.
AD was my roomie along with Peter for the weekend, and we really had a great time. Wonderful guy. Just loves doing what he does and does a very fine job with these. It's you take a look at the builds and the welds, and there's a labor of love there. And he, it's a hobby for him, but it's also when he makes a little bit of coin on, and easy to get along with. He does the seats for Carver too, which is one thing to note. He's an industrious guy, real laid back, fun guy to be around.
And knows what he is doing.
And
He
does know what he's doing for sure.
Nina,
He does. Yeah, he told me he's made over 500 of these.
Is that
recycled
right? I
recumbents.
did not know that.
And it's like, well, that makes him one of the most successful American recumbent manufacturers.
Yep. Not to mention the plans that he put out there. So there may be 500 folks who have done their own recumbent recycled recumbents
Without a
as
doubt.
well, guys. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Let's move along, Trey, if we could. Smart Brake. So another one we had a chance to speak. This is a new product from Norway, and very interesting Bluetooth controlled device, useful for all sorts of vehicles, devices, scooters, trikes, everything, and can actually be controlled for those that have some sort of adaptive issues and may have problems using their brakes themselves in an emergency. There's like a remote you could use to help guide them. Really an interesting product, I found. And Scott there is from Lancaster Recumbents, and they are the American distributors of Smart Brakes. That's what I know. We do have a more in-depth interview and a better look at that product coming eventually in our video. Go ahead, Trey.
Think about putting that brake on HP's hand crank. You get rid of all those cables.
Yeah,
you remember looking at HP's bike, it's got all the brake cables, and that's always a challenge. I've got a friend that rides a hand cycle, and that's always a challenge. How do I get these cables? Because it's very difficult. That's a huge issue. HP did an admirable job with it, but if you could put this on, and it gets rid of all of the cables for the brakes.
Well, yeah, the brake cables still be one gear cable.
Right, a gear cable, but
that's 1/3 the trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Very good.
Nice. Good idea.
All right. Let's move along to Spinovate and Van Ram. So Spinovate is the American distributor for Van Ram, which is a Dutch company which makes, as you can see, all sorts of vehicles, mostly, again, for people that have some adaptive needs. Really interesting stuff. We had an interesting interview with the Dutch rep who was there. And everything from a bike that you can actually put a wheelchair onto to tandem side by side that you could ride with someone, tandem front to back. Really interesting products that I saw there. Anybody else have anything to say about Spinovate / Van Ram? All right. Let us move along then. And to our pal Dan Zimmerman, Spokes Fighting Strokes. I will reiterate the wonderful time we had talking to Dan. We have a really cool interview with him showing off the new trailer and how he goes about setting up these trikes all over the country for people that have issues, had strokes and other sorts of problems that he's changed people's lives, that they would just be stuck in a house someplace, never thinking they could get outside and be mobile, but Dan has made a difference in many people's lives. With that in mind, we were lucky enough to have a painting that Azab raffled off a few months ago, done by a Ukrainian artist. And I think we've got a picture. One of our, it's probably on one of our laid back bike report slots. If you have a chance to show that, Trey, near the beginning. I'm not sure, but this painting, we raffled it off. We charged $10 a shot, and we gave the proceeds of that to Dan and Spokes Fighting Strokes. There it is. And so we were really happy to do that. It's a great painting, and it was won by Larry Black from Mount Airy Cycles. He's going to put it up in a shop, I think. But we were excited to help Danny out there. So anybody else want to say anything about Dan and Spokes Fighting Strokes?
We had a customer one time that needed some adaptation for a trike, and the next day we got a call from them, actually from their wife. They said, you know, he's pretty advanced with his medical condition, so he spends his days in a wheelchair. And his wife called up the day after they picked up the trike, and she said he's out on he's been on a ride, and he's been out for 2 hours. Now he's only riding around the cul-de-sac we live on. It's not the epic century rides he used to do, but he's not living life through a plate glass window anymore. And I thought that was just an excellent summation of what organizations and trikes like this can do. You know, get people outdoors again, and even if you're not real capable to do monster rides as you used to do, you can still get out and have fun. The wind's in your face, you're getting some exercise, it's fun.
Absolutely.
You know, I have heard about Dan for years and years and years, and this was the first time that I had met him, and I just thought he was delightful. We were out in the parking lot, camped in RVs, and just had just a super fun. The guy has just a great attitude, and he's just a joy to be with.
Absolutely. Okay. Then with that, let's go ahead, Trey, and move on to Sport Crafters. And it's our pal Pete, who makes the trainers. Pete's been on the show before. So we had a quick look at the trainers. We interviewed him, but actually what he's kind of showing now and what's the latest is that trike stand that you see there. Trey, I know you might have a few things to say about it. You already have. I don't know, Trey, how we go through all these booths, and every time we go through something, you already have one of the products, but you do again. Tell us about this.
So this trike stand is awesome. It allows you to put. Well, we've got 10 different trikes, and it'll fit 2-wheel or 3-wheel trikes, and it's very adjustable. So the biggest challenge, I mentioned it to him, is a Hasa, my wife's Hasa. It's really long, but he said, no worries, we can make you an extra long boom. But the cool thing is that it's adjustable. You can lift it up or down. You can fit any size trike to it. It's just, I love it. It's a great. I've got park tool stands. I've got all these other stands, but I actually have 2 of these.
Okay.
They're that nice. I think everybody should have one.
Very nice. And before we move on, Matt, I think you may have to go.
Yep.
So I really wanted to thank you so much I know you're a busy guy, and we really appreciate you coming on and sharing your views. I hope to see you again soon, pal.
Yeah, it was a great show, and I'm really happy that I'm here in the States. I'll be here for a little while, and I hope during the time that I'm here, I'll be amongst the recumbent community. So I won't be a stranger.
I was hoping not. So thanks, Matt.
Bye, guys.
All right, folks. So let's move along from Sports Crafters if we can then, Trey, and Stein Trikes. So yeah, Janet was there from Stein Trikes, and we did a nice interview with her. You'll see popping up with the Wild One. Probably one of the more flexible kinds of trikes that you can do so many different things with. And maybe Nina, we'll kick it off with you. I know you fell in love, apparently, not being a trike person, that much, but tell us what you thought of the Wild One.
Yeah, I'm quite smitten with it. I could ride all over anything. Places I would only normally go with fat tires, this trike handled just fine. I was really amazed and surprised. And I'm not gonna buy a trike. I have no plans to buy a trike for a good while, but that definitely stayed with me. And I rode it several times, and then I waited a day and I rode other trikes, and then I rode this one again, and I was like, yeah, this one feels different to me.
Good. All right. Anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah, Larry.
No.
Oh, Denny, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. I followed Nina around on that trike, and she was having a great time with it. So I'm not a trike person, but I did pop in and take it for a couple of laps around, and it is quite a nice piece of equipment. I was quite impressed with it. Very, very well handling, a lot of travel on it. Doesn't feel spongy. It holds the ground quite nicely, and very impressive, and the people are great too.
Yep. And Larry Varney and I did a review of, well, Larry did the review. I just shot the video about a year or so ago, maybe, Larry, huh? Something like that.
Yeah.
So you guys can look that up also if you want to get a little closer look. And like I say, we do have the interview with Janet there.
And I
from
got to
CycleCon.
agree that it does have a comfortable suspension, and the idea you can get all kinds of different color combinations. You can get large rear wheels in the rear or all around. I mean, it's almost like if you can come up with an idea, they'll sell it to you. I mean, they can configure it in so many ways, and it's an enjoyable trike. I liked it.
They mentioned it being modular, so if you bought that particular trike, you could buy the rear 2 modules and change it from a fat tire to a skinny tire, or to a 26 versus a 20.
Yep.
I know she did say that. So.
Yep. Okay. All right, Trey, then let's move along. I think we have Sunseekers. So this was a kind of a surprise because I think they were not going to come, and at the last minute they did. And I think they were really happy that they did, because they brought an incredible lineup, as you can see in this picture. And people were riding those trikes and a couple of bikes like crazy. So they have just one of the most expansive lines of bikes and trikes in the recumbent world, without question. Reasonably priced, and they do a heck of a job with their dealers. They have, what trade did they tell us? They had 7,000 dealers. Is that what he said? Yeah, that's just amazing. So they have great reach.
Yeah, it's unbelievable the amount of dealers they had.
Yep. So we did an extensive interview with them, and you'll see all of these products in that interview coming up. Anybody else have anything? Yeah, go ahead, Nina.
They had a really fun hitch system to connect 2 models of trike, and they were always connecting different models. And it's just like another fun tandem concept. These are the Sun. What are they called?
Sunseeker? Or you mean the? Oh yeah,
the Sunseeker Easy one. So they have the side by side tandem, and I have one of these. Quadrabents is made out of 2 inexpensive Sun bikes side by side, and it's not fancy, it's not fast, but it's really fun. And with this hitch thing where you have one trike trailing another trike, is also like really fun. I can't vouch for its efficiency or anything like that, but just a blast.
Yep. All right. Let's move along, Trey, then see what we have up next. TerraCycle. So yeah, those guys came and they brought a couple of things. They didn't have too much new. I know after my interview with Quentin, you see there with the peace sign, Quentin is their machinist, and he did a great job both in the seminars and talking to us. They talked a little bit about the fairing in our interview, and they also had a carrier rack, but they have been catching up from the blast of orders they had during the COVID period, and now they are working on some new stuff, which you're going to be seeing coming out in the coming months. But it was really fun to talk to them. They also had a great little idler. I don't know what you call it. It was an idler machine that Quentin put together that had chains. There must have been 10 or 15 idlers all hooked up on one chain or 2 chains, and you could just crank that thing through. So you can see that on the video, which is already posted as well. Anybody else have anything for TerraCycle?
I love the bananas. Yeah. The bunch of bananas hanging off the rack.
Right. Yep, those are cool. And there's that machine. You can see it in action in the video. It's crazy. All right, let's go ahead and see what's next. Yeah, there's the rack there, and all the flags. TerraTrike. So again, one of the WizWheelz company. They had probably the biggest, as you would expect, booth there. They had tons of trikes to try out, all kinds of stuff to show. And we had some interesting talks with them as well about their products and what was going on. Anybody else have anything? There's that TerraTrike monster tandem. Anybody else?
I took a ride on their new Spider.
Yeah,
and,
go ahead.
That was the first time I'd ridden one. It's certainly I think it's the fastest TerraTrike I've ever ridden. It has a pretty low seat, like a sporty trike would, and the seat's fairly upright. So if you don't want to recline much, that might be a good choice. But most, racing bikes are low seats and recline. So it's not a racing bike. It's a performance bike for people that don't want to recline much, I guess.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'll make a comment too. I followed Nina around doing some video on one of their Magnums, and nice bike. I think it's relatively, and their e-assist line is relatively low price, but Square Boom made a lot of sense. It rode well, decent power. I really quite liked it. I'm like I said, I'm not a trike guy, but it was nice to spend some time with a little bit of e-assist there.
Yeah, I think the Magnum is a Greenspeed, if that's the one that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
close enough.
You know what? It was in the TerraTrike booth, so yeah, okay.
Yeah, they could do that because they own it all. So, all right, and there's our pal Marshall, who is kind of running the show there. Okay, what's next, Trey? Let's see. Tie trikes. We didn't have a chance to talk to Ken. Well, we did come to talk to Ken, but he was very busy during the show with all of these titanium vehicles, and always good to see him again. But we didn't have a chance to come back. He was always busy. We didn't get a chance to interview him, but they have some amazing stuff there. Anybody have anything to add? All right, let's go on to the next one. Trident. So our pal Tom Floor was there with a big booth, as he always has. Expanded it out underneath the tent and then outside the tent. And then I think there's another picture. You'll see him go right across from the tent. He had all kinds of stuff there. Let's see. What did he call that? The Tomcat Trey. That's what he's right there that you see, that yellow trike. It's a smaller trike for it's lighter, and he's making it for the smaller rider as well. Trey, go ahead.
What he's demoing right there is that little fanny pack or whatever. It actually attaches to the side of the seat. So when you're riding, you have a pouch to put stuff in, and then when you get off the trike, you just pull it loose and you can strap it around your waist.
Yeah, kind of a side pack instead of a side bag. Very handy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so we did an extensive interview with Tom. Got a chance to see all the different trikes. You will be able to see that side pouch along with all the other stuff as well.
I think I tried their trikes on Thursday. Well, they were still setting up, and yeah, they're great.
Yeah, and very reasonably priced. Tom tries to keep those prices low as well. So
yeah.
Okay, let's move along then, Trey, to Triot. So Triot was another company that was not going to be there, and then Marty decided that he would, and so he showed up with not so extensive use of, or not such an extensive booth. He just had a couple there. Trey's, so that's the last slide that you see, Trey? I wonder what's up with that.
Okay. Yeah, something, I don't know.
Okay, that's all right. We'll finish up here with that. So yeah, Marty brought a couple of his trikes. They're known for the innovative engineering that he does on those. A fully enclosed drivetrain, belt drives, and he is mostly what he had to say was he's working on some new stuff that he talked about that I can't talk about yet, but I think in the spring you're going to see some amazing new stuff from Triot, that some things that I've not heard any other trike makers do before. So we'll look forward to doing that. So what else did we miss, Trey? Are there
Yeah, there's quite a few. If you give me a second, I can put up the
yeah,
slide
go ahead
deck.
and do that.
I really wanted to try one of the Triots. I sat in it, but there weren't enough for me to actually test drive. Very curious to test it.
Let's, if we can, jump, maybe, Denny, you can help us out here, jump to the seminars while Trey sees if you can find the rest of the
Yeah.
pictures. If not, we'll talk to it. So Denny and my buddy Phil Paulson were doing the video of all the seminars, which we eventually will have for you guys to see. Denny, as an observer of the other side, where Sylvia was telling you about from her standpoint, what did you see of interest? First, tell us how great Nina and Sylvia were, though.
Nina and Sylvia were great. Okay. And they were great individually and together. It worked actually very well together. I was quite impressed, and they bounced off and had a nice rapport, I thought. I had the opportunity to attend all the public seminars on Saturday and Sunday, and they all have been recorded. And you said you're going to have them up fairly soon. We did kind of the best we had with, the overall background noise was pretty good because we mic'd everybody. So they are listenable. The video probably is pretty good. I haven't seen them, so I really don't know. But the attendance was quite good. I was quite surprised. One comment I will make is they had the area was cordoned off, but just with curtains, and we were right near the exit to the riding loop, so the wind was coming in the afternoon, and it was kind of chilly in there, and the curtains were blowing all over, so it was a little bit of a challenge. And I never got out of long pants and a jacket all day. It was kind of chilly there. I really would love to see him have a little bit of more separation somehow, whether they could get another screen system in, or something, or maybe relocate it to a different part of the building. It wasn't ideal, let's put it this way.
Okay.
But here we go.
Go ahead. So I've got Trey. I've got the slideshow up here. So let me see if I can do this.
Because it won't present for mine.
Yep. We'll try to get back to it here. So let me see if I can just do it from here. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about the trike. There are the two trikes, and there's Marty Rasmussen, who I was just talking about, the owner, and really interesting stuff. All right. And then, so actually that was the last of the booths, and now we've got some miscellaneous shots to talk about. So we're done with the booths here. So here was the entrance, and then we've got some shots. There's Peter talking to some people. We had a chance to talk to lots of people. There's Larry Black, the winner of that picture I told you about, that he won the raffle, and David Black, actually, right there, that is next to me from Honza. This is Larry. If you don't know Larry from Mount Airy, this should say it all for you.
Larry brought his Gold Rush, and I was very happy to ride it as a contrast to all the cushy trikes.
Right.
It was a gorgeous bike.
And there's Dan Zimmerman and Janet from Stein Trikes, and Tim Seegert from Bent Revolution down in Odessa, Florida. They're at the AZA booth. It's more of Matt, Janet. And there's Sylvia. Sylvia, what were you saying there exactly? We don't know.
Who knows, right?
That's
you know me.
Something about, I wish that broadcast speaker would be quiet.
Right. It's probably exactly what it was. All right, Denny, I will. Did you want to finish up on what you were saying?
Oh yeah, I would like to. Yeah.
Well, I have that shot up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I just lost my notes there. Where did it go? Hang on.
Okay.
There they are. I got them. Okay. So, anyways, Sylvia, Matt, touring was a prevailing thread with all the with a lot of the seminars. Sylvia and Matt offering experiences for tips for traveling by trikes. Matt did a wonderful demonstration of videoing his travels with his drone. He actually flew it inside the Spokes Fighting Strokes trailer and looked around. That was really impressive.
Yeah, we didn't say anything about that, Denny, but we actually have some video. I know you guys shot it from the one direction, and interestingly, Trey and I were interviewing Danny Zimmerman at the back of his trailer, and And Matt said, you know, I'd like to fly this thing through like truck doors or through windows or something if there was only something. And Dan Zimmerman was right there, and we could hear him because he was, and Matt was right there, like, fly it into the trailer. So don't you know, with trikes hanging on either side of the inside of that trailer, Matt flew that drone. With Sylvia would have been shaking her head like, "Why would you do that, dude?" But he flew it right in there between all the seats and then out the side door. And I got a little video of it coming out the side door, so we will eventually be able to see that too. I think you guys will appreciate that. Go ahead, Denny. Sorry.
All right. David Black from Honza did a great talk on adaptive cycling. He's a wealth of knowledge. He also was present one morning at breakfast where he gave great advice to a shop on getting funding for bikes and trikes from different agencies. I suggested he put together another talk about this subject, and maybe he will next year. I learned a lot just listening in for like 10 minutes. A very informative talk from TerraCycle about the machining and design that goes into their accessory line. Great insight on what it takes to get parts to the market. And Larry Black, what can you say about Larry Black? He's been around for a long time. He's been a supporter of bikes, every kind of bike, and recumbents in general, but he has penny farthings. He's everything. Larry Black did basically 2 one-hour bicycle comedy stand-ups, if you can believe that. I've been around bicycles for over 40 years as an adult. While his delivery was delightful and frenetic, I really learned some great mechanical tips. Plus, he is just very, very entertaining. But like a weasel on crack. I mean, the guy is all.
I heard the laughs. Trey and I were out doing interviews. We heard the laughs coming from there, and I just had a chance to sample a little bit of that. So I think it's going to be. It's going to be special.
It was fun. I honestly enjoyed it. Okay, that's what I have.
Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate it, Denny.
I feel all of them are worth really a look to see.
We'll get them out. They'll be coming after the booth interviews that we get out there. So that's great. Okay, so we've gone through the booths and we've talked about the seminars there. And I don't know, is there any more here? Let's see. Oh yeah, I think this is pretty much the end. This is me showing Phil, who was filming those seminars, exactly how to use the camera. You can just tell by what I'm doing there that I know what I'm doing.
I really enjoyed Phil. We had a great time.
Phil's a great guy. He's a good friend.
He is. I look forward to seeing him every year.
Yeah, we appreciate what Phil Paulson and Janet, his wife, did there and always do for us. So. All right, so I guess enough of the slideshow then, and I guess we're going to move on. Thank you guys all so much, Sylvia, and I appreciate you hopping on, and we are glad that you finally were able to we were glad we were able to see you, because I didn't know that was going to happen.
Me too.
And Peter, it was great seeing all you guys at the show and great having you on here for this. So please feel free to stick around as we finish up. We're almost done here. Or if you got to go.
So I have one comment, if you don't mind.
I would love to hear it.
About the name change. The name change. It used to always be called Recumbent CycleCon, and they changed it with the new owners to CycleCon. And I'm kind of excited to see what this is going to mean. Recumbents have always been different and odd and separate. And maybe this will help to bring recumbents into cycling, and it'll just be another part of cycling. And I'm pretty excited to see what that's going to mean and what they're going to do with that name change.
I think they're talking about expanding out. There was a manufacturers meeting, exhibitors meeting, and they talked about the future. I don't know how much they actually settled, but one of the things was to grow this event and by expanding the nature of it. So it may end up being cargo bikes and other sorts of things. So we will see what happens. But yeah, Sylvia, you're absolutely right. It is now CycleCon.
Do you think like the cycling club, the bike club of Dayton, could be invited and asked to lead a ride that the recumbent bikes could also join next time?
So that is something that we wanted, that we touched on at the beginning. And like I said, the impromptu group led a couple of rides, but it would be nice to have something even larger. I don't know how many, I don't know about the Dayton Club. It used to be massive. I do know that. I don't know if they were invited. They did have the Ohio Bike Federation, but that's not a local
Yeah, he was
group. And so they were there testing some things out. But I think that is, they talked about this as well. And they talked about what draws people to a place like Dayton. And what many of us suggested was the cycle pass, the hundreds of miles in the area that is an attraction to people who ride. So I think that's something they're going to talk about and expand on. Sylvia, great idea.
I really regret not having had a bike there, because the hotel was 5 miles from the venue. And, the talk I gave was my car-free life. And I spent more time in cars at this bicycling event than I have in the last few years. And then I learned that there were these great trails there. And I was like, so next year I'm going to try very hard to plan a bike trip out there.
That's great. Bike trip. And then you can bring Frosty, or unless you have a new Velomobile by then, and you can put Frosty right in the booth next to Myrtle, if you like. And we'll
I think actually, if I'm going to do a multi-day bike trip, I think I would actually use my Tour Easy. Okay. But I'm hoping that Sylvia's around. We can bike over to Dayton
together. We did miss having a Velomobile. There was a gentleman who brought one on the outside on Sunday, which was nice. And we did try real hard to get Velomobile there. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, I think he was in a Quattro Velo, wasn't he?
That was...
Yep.
That was a Quattro Velo?
Was it? No, I don't think so.
I thought it was.
Oh, no.
I thought it was a Milan. Was it a Milan?
No.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it had a single drive. It didn't. I don't think it was a Quattro Velo.
Well, I just saw it in passing.
No, it was not
quick.
a Quattro.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So we're talking about the only thing that actually wasn't in the show. So, all right, guys, great. Let's, I think at this point, move along then to our final segment, which is our friend Marshall Randall, who, as I mentioned, broke all kinds of records last month. A really epic ride that we talked about in this video. So, Larry, if you're ready to go, let's see it.
Hi guys, we are here with Marshall Randall. You may know him from WizWheelz, but Marshall has accomplished something very special recently, and we're going to talk about right now. Marshall, this trike, your legs, just a couple of weeks ago. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, so about 3 weeks ago, set out to set some new world records in the recumbent area, if you will, and we're pretty successful at it, I'll just say. So, yeah.
Well, I would say so. So let's set this up. So what did you ride? What do you have here? Tell us about this particular trike, first of all.
So sure. So this is a Greenspeed Aero, pretty much stock except for the crankset and the chain rings that are on it. Otherwise, it's an off-the-shelf Greenspeed Aero, complete with Scorcher tires.
Okay, and so you took this Aero. Where did you go to set these records?
So there's an area north of Grand Rapids that seemed pretty suitable to chase these records. We always look for something that's pretty flat, relatively little gain, and of course, really smooth pavement. And there was an area that was just really well suited for that.
And specifically, when was it?
So, wow, you're going to test me, but September 23rd, a couple of days before my birthday.
What birthday was that, Marshall?
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot, Gary? My 65th birthday.
All right, it's important as we go through this. So awesome. All right, so now this was really one ride that you had hoped would set these records, yes?
Yeah. So haven't trained a lot to go after like the 24-hour record, so brought that back into chasing the 12-hour record. And then inside that 12-hour record, we went for the 6-hour record. And inside that 12-hour record, we also went for the 100K, 200K, 300K, and then the 100-mile and 200-mile record. And as of a couple of days ago, they ratified those records and said, yeah,
Yeah.
They count.
So this has been certified. Who does the certification on these kinds of things?
Yeah, so all the records are kept by the World Ultra Cycling Organization, and then they actually, it's pretty cool, they turn those records over then to the Guinness Book of World Records as well. So yeah, I feel kind of pretty good about it.
You're going to be in the book.
Yeah, going to be in the book.
So let's start down the line if we can. Marshall, what records did you achieve?
Sure, and I want to point out too, Gary, so the records and the times that I have here, the 12-hour they've ratified, and then these exist in there, but they're going to crunch the numbers down to the hundredths of seconds. So these are what I took off from my Strava data, and they'll bring in that exact to the second type data. Okay. But roughly speaking, the 100K record in 2 hours and 52 minutes, I like that because it was 21.6 miles an hour, so I feel pretty good about that one. So then the 100-mile record, 5 hours and 14 minutes at 19.1 average miles per hour. 200K came next, roughly 124 miles, 6 hours, 45 minutes, and you can see the average speed starts to drop, 18.3. The 300K in 10 hours, 24 minutes at 17.8 miles an hour. 200 miles, 11 hours, 18 minutes, 17.7. Then the 6 hours, 110 miles, and the 12-hour in 207 miles. And then what they do, Gary, just if people don't know, is anytime you take a rest, the clock is still running. So when we come in for like a food break or anything, it's like your average speed, the clock's ticking, starts to drop down. So you really try to keep those breaks and feeds kind of minimal.
I think that's awesome. Now, why don't we talk about your preparation? What did you do to prepare for this?
So it really consisted of I still work for Trike and WizWheelz, so train before I go into work, and a lot of that's done on an indoor trainer. So at the height of the training, it's probably anywhere from 40 to 50 miles a day, and then on the weekends I would get out on the recumbent trike, on the Aero, and try to knock out anywhere from 60 to 100 miles in single rides, and then kind of recover a little bit, do a long ride again on Sunday, but not push it as hard. And during those long rides, I was always kind of the records in mind and trying to really replicate up to 100 miles what I could do for those records. So, yeah.
Super. All right, let's finish up with the day of. So take me through that day, the anticipation, the start. Tell me what you went through.
So I'm a pretty lucky guy. I have a fantastic wife, Kelly. So totally supportive of this. So, the day before, making sure all the food stuff, all the hydration stuff, all the trike's ready, right there with me. Yeah, honestly, the night before, kind of a lot of anxiety, anxious about it. What's the weather going to be like? And you're worried about getting flat tires and all that stuff. But yeah, you get up, you go out to the course, had a great team of officials and crew, most of them from Trike, out there to help me and basically keep me hydrated, keep me fed, keep me on schedule. 36 degrees in the morning to start out with. It was bitter cold for me. And I'll play the age game. At my age, it was hard to get going when it was that cold. So that affected the times a little bit, but still, all in all, great day.
Okay. And so throughout the day then, how did you feel? You felt strong then all the way through? Did you have a few thoughts about, wow, why am I doing this? Were there crisis moments? How did it go?
I wouldn't say any crisis moments, but if you were to ask the crew, they would tell you once I rolled through 100K, I was really kind of stoked about that. So the speed dropped down, and then getting back up to 100 miles, I would, to be honest, kind of hit the wall a little bit around 5-6 hours, and then you get to 8 hours and you go, wow, I still have 4 hours to go. But once I got through that hour and a half to go, oh man, your spirit starts to pick up again, and you're going, yeah, I can do this. This is good. Yeah.
You kind of see the finish line, and it just kind of drives you there.
Yeah.
It's an amazing accomplishment. It's an amazing accomplishments, I guess we would say. So, Marshall, congratulations on behalf of the recumbent community, and thanks for everything you do for us. You well-deserved records, and folks, it's Marshall.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Marshall, he never gives up. He's an amazing guy. So, great. All right, let me just remind you quickly then, if you have a submission that you would like to make to the Laid Back Bike Report, feel free to submit it to us via email at laidbackbikereport@gmail.com, and we will see if we can get it on the air for you. All right, well, that brings us to our sponsor thanks, which we are going to do right now. First of all, there is TerraCycle. From fairings to headrests, whatever accessory you need, Pat and crew have you covered. And Trailside Trikes. If you find yourself in Florida near the Withlacoochee Trail or in Knoxville, Tennessee, check out Andrew's shop and his amazing crew. And Terra Trike and Greenspeed Trikes. Your vision, whatever it is, Terra Trike has a trike to take you there. And Greenspeed cutting-edge designs create performance through Aussie ingenuity. And Laid Back Cycles, the top USA dealer for Terra Trike and the premier source for Cat Trike, Ice, and Greenspeed. We give you the freedom to ride. And Connecticut Yankee Peddler. We feature multiple brands of trikes, including electric assist models, test rides, and Southern Iowa hospitality. They are always available at our mega store in Cheriton. And Avenue Trikes. With the gearing you need and the comfort you want, it's time to enjoy riding again. They're in stock and ready to ship in only $19.95. Dealer inquiries are welcome. And Azub. In addition to the titanium suspension, another technological gem brought to you by Azub is the optional folding mechanism. It's not only easy to operate, but works great and looks fantastic. And Recumbent PDX, Cat Trike's West Coast Megastore. Schedule your test ride on trikes with pedal assist electric from both Bosch and Bafang. Roll-off and slump component groups and adaptive builds. Experience the joy of Cat Trike. And Eco Cycles. Adding e-assist to your bent can be a daunting task. With total focus on customer service, the experts at Eco Cycles makes this upgrade simple and worry-free. Check out Eco Cycles today. All right, guys, let's see. Oh, I just wanted to bring you up to date. I mentioned about some of the videos we've posted. So here's the plan. You know we've been to Battle Mountain. You know we've been to CycleCon. We have a ton of video that Tray and I shot, and I am editing the videos one for Battle Mountain, one rider at a time, and for CycleCon, one interview at a time, and I am posting those as I do it. So hopefully in the next couple weeks or so, we will have all those videos out. What a day, something like that is what I'm shooting for. When they are done, I will post complete videos, which will be the collection of all the smaller videos plus bonus footage that will not shown in the smaller ones, that will make one comprehensive video for Battle Mountain and one for CycleCon. So that's something new for us. We're trying it out and see if that works a little better. We're trying to make these videos a little bit more timely. So yeah, you can look for what we have on the two playlists. I have a CycleCon playlist and I have a Battle Mountain playlist, as you see there on the Laid Back Bike Report YouTube channel. And so I'll be working on that in the days and weeks to come. And we hope to take a look at those. All right, what's coming up? Let me tell you about next month. Let's see, November 13th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Working on some interesting interviews I think you guys will enjoy. We will tell you about those as the month progresses. Probably see that on Facebook. All right, how can you support the Laid Back Bike Report? Well, you can like us on Facebook. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. And you can click that little white eye up there. Should pop up and take you to the Laid Back Bike Report website, where you can find out lots more. Find out how to become a Patreon, where you can support us for as little as $1 a month. You can buy one of those hats that you see Fred wearing up here. We gave away a bunch of those at CycleCon as well. So we hope you'll support us and you'll follow what we do on the website. All right, time for thanking my panelists. Bring everybody up, Larry, if you would, whoever is left. And guys, I sure do appreciate all of your contributions today. Your experiences are always great to hear, and it gives a wide perspective, I think, to our audience. So thank you all so very much. And guys, thank you most of all, our viewers for watching every month on the Laid Back Bike Report. We appreciate you being with us. So until our next webcast, from all of us here at the Laid Back Bike Report, so long, bent riders.